only voice. And often that is enough to keep moving forward. Sometimes we imagine gratitude as a grand gesture, a speech, a celebration, a dramatic turnaround, but in real life it's much quieter. It often begins with a whisper, a moment, a simple thank you spoken through tears. Gratitude is humble. It lives in the details. It appears when we notice the softness of a blanket on a cold morning, or the way someone holds the door open without expecting anything in return. These moments are small, but they carry deep spiritual weight. They remind us that even in chaos we are not forsaken. Gratitude makes the ordinary sacred, and as we begin to notice and name our blessings, even the ones that feel incomplete, something inside us changes. We begin to live more open-hearted. We stop clenching so tightly to what we've lost and start cherishing what we still hold. That shift softens us. It prepares us to receive more joy, more connection, more grace. Gratitude doesn't remove the struggle, but it does remove the sting of isolation. It reminds us that we are part of a bigger story, one still unfolding. And even when we don't understand the chapter we're in, we trust that there is purpose woven into every line. Life will always include unanswered prayers and unmet expectations. There will be dreams that fade, people who leave, and seasons that feel like they've taken more than they've given. But even here, even now, there is still room for gratitude, because gratitude doesn't depend on everything going right. It grows in the soil of what remains. It asks, what can I still be thankful for? And often, the answer surprises us. Gratitude is not naive. It knows about pain, betrayal, and loss, but it chooses again and again to fix its eyes on what endures. It says, yes, this is hard, but no, it's not all there is. This defiant kind of gratitude does something to the soul. It lifts our gaze. It loosens the grip of bitterness. It makes space for peace where anxiety once lived. And perhaps most importantly, it reconnects us to love, because love is always present, sometimes in ways we don't recognize at first. Gratitude becomes the lens through which we begin to see that love again. And when we do, we realize we've never truly been alone. Even in the silence, even in the storm, grace has been walking beside us the whole time. Gratitude doesn't change what happened, but it does change what happens next. It helps us release the need to control outcomes and opens us to the gift of presence. When we're constantly reliving the past or fearing the future, we miss what's happening right now. Gratitude anchors us to the present. It says this moment matters, this breath is a gift. And when we begin to see life through that lens, everything shifts. We stop measuring our worth by what we've lost or gained, and we start recognizing the sacredness of simply being alive. Gratitude teaches us to see differently. A trial becomes a teacher. A delay becomes a time of preparation. A disappointment becomes the ground where resilience grows. These shifts are subtle, but they change everything. Because once you've seen beauty in brokenness, you're never the same. You begin to believe that grace can show up anywhere, that strength can grow in the cracks, that light can shine even through the storm. And the more we see that, the more grateful we become, not just for what's easy, but for everything that shaped us. Gratitude in this way becomes more than a feeling. It becomes a way of life. In difficult seasons, people often ask, what good can possibly come from this? It's a fair question, one we've all wondered, but when we walk with gratitude, we begin to discover quiet answers. Sometimes the good isn't immediate. It's not the fixing of circumstances, but the forging of character. Gratitude reveals how pain can expand our compassion, how waiting can deepen our faith, how loss can awaken us to what truly matters. We begin to thank the hardship not because it was pleasant, but because it taught us something no easy road could. Gratitude uncovers hidden treasures. It reveals the gold hidden in the fire, and once we start to see that, we stop resenting the struggle and start receiving from it. This isn't about pretending everything is fine. It's about finding meaning even when things aren't. Gratitude allows us to carry suffering with dignity, not defeat. It gives us a way to honor the journey, even the jagged parts, and in doing so, it redeems our pain. It gives it purpose. Gratitude teaches us that while we may not get the answers we want, we can still find peace in the life we have. And that peace is more powerful than we realize. The most powerful expressions of gratitude are not found in grand declarations, but in the quiet, consistent turning of the heart toward what is good. It's in the decision to say, today, I will see the gift. Even if the gift is small, even if it's buried under pain, this choice, repeated daily, forms a habit of hope. Gratitude becomes a discipline, not because it's always easy, but because it's always worthwhile. It's how we train our hearts to resist despair, not by ignoring reality, but by finding the beauty within it, the sunrise after a long night, the smile of someone who stayed, the breath that returns after crying. These small signs are seeds, and when watered by gratitude, they grow into strength, joy, and perspective. Over time, we begin to notice what others overlook. We find miracles in the mundane, and this new way of seeing doesn't just help us survive, it helps us flourish. Gratitude doesn't require perfect circumstances. It thrives in imperfect ones. That's what makes it so powerful. It builds a soul that can find goodness in the rain. And the more we cultivate that soul, the more we become a light for others still searching in the dark. One of the most surprising things about gratitude is how deeply it can connect us to others. Pain often isolates, making us feel like we're the only one struggling. But gratitude reminds us that we are not alone. When we share what we're thankful for even in hard times, we open a door for others to do the same, we give permission for honesty, we model resilience. And in that space, healing begins. Gratitude builds community, not just through shared joy, but through shared courage. It's the moment a friend says, "I'm grateful you were there," or a stranger offers a smile and we feel seen. These small exchanges carry more weight than we know. They remind us of our shared humanity, that we're all walking through something, that grace touches each of us in different ways, and when we start living gratefully, we start seeing others more fully. We notice kindness, we extend patience, we become more generous, not because life is perfect, but because we realize how much we've already received. Gratitude turns our hearts outward. It shifts us from survival mode into a place of deeper purpose. And in that shift, we don't just find peace, we begin to spread it. We often think of strength as something fierce, loud, aggressive, unyielding. But gratitude teaches us about a different kind of strength, the quiet, persistent kind that shows up day after day. It's the strength to be thankful when everything in you wants to give up. It's the strength to see good in the midst of grief. This kind of gratitude doesn't roar at whispers, and yet its impact is profound. It keeps us rooted when the winds of life blow hard. It allows us to say, "This moment is difficult, but it is not the end of my story." And in saying that, we reclaim our power. Gratitude does not deny our pain, but it refuses to let pain have the final word. It insists that life still holds value, that love still matters, and that beauty still waits to be discovered. This inner strength is forged through choices, through practicing thankfulness when it's hard, through returning again and again to what is still good. In this way, gratitude becomes a foundation, unshakable even when the world feels uncertain, and once we've built our life on that kind of strength, we are no longer at the mercy of circumstances. We become unbreakable in spirit. There is a strange and beautiful paradox in life. The more we focus on what we have, the more we seem to receive. Gratitude expands our hearts. It opens our eyes. When we live with a spirit of thankfulness, we begin to attract peace, clarity, and joy. Not because life becomes easier, but because our perspective becomes wiser. Gratitude teaches us to live with open hands, to stop gripping so tightly to our expectations, and instead receive what is with trust. It helps us embrace the mystery of life, the parts we don't understand, the timing we wouldn't choose, the outcomes we didn't plan, and somehow in that surrender we find freedom. Gratitude is not just a reaction to good things, it's a posture of humility. It says, I didn't earn all of this, I don't control all of this, but I can receive it with a grateful heart. That humility becomes the doorway to wisdom. It makes us teachable, compassionate, and more aware of the sacredness of everyday life. Gratitude isn't passive, it's active. It reshapes us from the inside out, and in doing so, it turns even our hardest moments into soil where purpose, peace, and spiritual depth can grow.